Hi class. Well, today we're finishing our sunflower paintings. We have created a symmetrical vase using the fabric paint, and we folded the paper in half previously and pre-sketched the sunflower the same way and folded them in half and used the symmetry. Today we applied a little bit of glue into our sunflowers. I still have paint left on my little cotton swab. That's okay, it's still gonna glue fine. And all we're gonna do, and it also shows you better where the paint is going because the white is kind of transparent. What we're gonna do is we're gonna today glue these pieces of yarn about 2 inch each. So we cut the yarn in 2-inch pieces. It can be yellow and orange and all kinds of pretty colors. And we have plenty for gluing, and we're gonna be creating all these pretty loops by folding the yarn in half, holding the ends like so in half. Okay, the ends are ready like so, and toward the end goes towards the sunflower, towards the middle of the sunflower. So we're gonna push it slightly with our finger down, and there's the little petal. And we're gonna just do it around the whole entire perimeter of the sunflower, which is gonna go give us a beautiful texture and finish our painting and make it very, very artistic and beautiful. So this technique using yarn in paintings was initially used by a Native American tribe, living in very inhospitable areas of Mexico. Inhospitable would be like mountains that nobody can get to. They're very rocky. Vegetation doesn't grow very easily there. Um, so these Indians created their own symbolisms and painting, and they created ceremonies and recorded special events using yarn and using it almost like in a mosaic kind of fashion. So what they did was they covered the whole entire piece of paper with the yarn. And initially, what the Indians used were sap, specifically pine sap, on a tablet, usually clay tablet. So the pine sap would be very sticky and resin from trees, okay? And that would be like a natural glue that they made. We're using just regular white school glue. They made their own glue and they spun their yarn from the different animals, furs, such as alpaca living in the region, and created gorgeously colored, beautiful paintings using the yarn as a mosaic. As you can see while I'm talking, go ahead and keep working with me. Glue your little petals to your sunflower. Whether this is plate for you and you're using a paper plate for that lesson, or if you're doing similar painting as this, don't worry about it. This just shows you the technique of folding the little piece of yarn over and attaching it nicely to the paper. So I'm sure you can listen to the story about the Native American tribes that used to live in Mexico. Actually, they still live there and still make these paintings. They used to live in very inhospitable areas, but now they also moved to like places like Mexico City and so on and so forth to support themselves by their beautiful art. And today we're making one like that, similar, inspired by their technique. Sometimes you might need more glue. So there should be a little plate of glue that you can use and use your cotton swab to apply more glue if you need it. Okay, so now we're into 5 minutes. We made 2 sunflowers. I don't want this lesson to be longer than 15 minutes. Should give us five more minutes for 2, 10, 15. We might not finish in this class, but let's keep going. Let's don't hesitate. Let's try to get done. And when this dries, it's going to be such a beautiful display of beautiful sunflowers. And I can't wait to see all of your creations and how your sunflowers came out. So the variation I mentioned was variation on a paper plate using the same exact technique and creating original yarn creation in paper plate. So that would be fun too to do. If you have other colors, you can use them. For example, if you wanted to make a little center using a darker yarn, you can apply a little more glue to the center too. And you can swirl instead, like making a little swirl with your yarn, and you can push down on it like so, creating a nice little center. Isn't that pretty? All right, and if you want to make it thicker, just keep applying yarn around that. That is interesting. At this point, you can also apply some glue to the outline of your vase as well. And I'm just showing you all the techniques, and you keep gluing where you are in your art. But if I wanted to add texture to my pretty little sunflower, to add a texture, I can also add some yarn to the vase, tying this area as well with the same technique used by Huichol, Mexican Indian. So it's like taking a little trip. We have our art passports, and you're gonna mark that today in art you traveled all the way to Mexico and learned a yarn technique used by Asian Native American tribe. And now we're gonna beautify also the little vase. And my daughter Julia is here, and we're at 8 minutes, so she's gonna be folding the little petals while I'm working on the vase, so it goes faster and I can stop the video just in time. So she's gonna fold each of the petal again in half, the 2-inch yarn in half, and she's just gonna add that beautiful sunflower yarn texture into the painting while I'm working and adding texture to our beautiful vase that we created using the symmetry lines. And that was another video. Today we're just gluing and if you wanted to do a little bit of a contrast and you have a green yarn available, and if it's not cut up, you can take a green yarn and you can actually add some leaves with your green yarn, and that can be on the bottom. So what I would do normally for the leaves, I would just add them like kind of on the bottom of the vase and fold them in such way that they're gonna look like little leaves. Let me show you. So I'll put glues just on the bottom of all the beautiful sunflowers. And then what I'll do is I'll add green folded the same way. Guess what? The human eye will immediately know what that is because it can imagine the details of the sunflowers having leaves and even stems. in between the flowers can be done in little green yarn here and there. And the human eye will connect all those beautiful details and know exactly what that is. Yeah, and we're just having so much fun. You're gluing. Sometimes it gets on your fingers and you kind of have to do like so to get some of the stringies off. And then continue gluing, gluing, gluing. We're at 10 minutes. We're doing really awesome. Painting is getting really filled. See how I'm adding 2 layers to the vase? And I thought this is coming so nice. Maybe I'll add some different color just for the contrast. I also have some natural yarns, natural colors, and some highlights maybe here and there. They're much lighter yellow, just to bring some of the sunflower out, make them stand out as if the sun was kissing them. And I have some brown as well for my vase. Okay, and if yours is not cut down into little short exact pieces, that's okay. We can cut our own yarn too if we ran out of the pre-cut one. So, and Julia is now giving those lighter, beautiful petals. As you can see, the light one right there. See, when we put more of the light ones, what happens is that it's gonna look like the sun is shining through the sunflowers, adding some highlights, what we call in art is highlights, which is really neat. And then I'll add a little more white glue to the center of the sunflower. Also, and like I showed you, I make a little snail with it, rolling, rolling, rolling around. Okay, like a little spiral, and bam, right there in the middle of the sunflower. Makes a nice contrast. And I took some brown ones, which are really pretty. So what I'll do with the brown ones, I'll add more glue to my face. And I'll add some brown ones as well. And it's just starting to look so wonderful and fun. Do you like gluing little yarn to the piece of paper, to the vase? And you know what is really fantastic also that I'm thinking about? Well, the famous painter Vincent van Gogh that we talked about in class, he was a painter who invented art style called Impressionism, and actually used these little lines like these that made the painting look like it's flowing, because they were intertwining little lines that never really connected, but they tricked the human eye in thinking, oh, it's a completed, it connects. But really it was made out of many, many thousands little lines, just like this one, laying next to each other, one on top of the other, making it look like a solid painting, solid landscape or solid sunflower. And many painters were very much influenced by Vincent van Gogh. He became very famous. But do you know that Vincent van Gogh only became famous after he died? He only sold one painting in his lifetime. And now his most favorite painting, The Starry Night, is the most famous painting that everybody knows. Everybody knows the name. Everybody living on earth. It is the most well-known. I cannot think of a person who doesn't know about Starry Night. And as I'm doing, you can do too. You can add a little more glue where needed. If your glue started drying and you need some for the middle or For some flowers that don't have enough glue, just keep adding glue when needed. This is gonna be such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful piece of art. Connecting the Asian Indian tribe that lives in Mexico and their beautiful technique of yarn with the famous French artist Vincent van Gogh. All right. Julia, when did you first learn about Vincent van Gogh? In school?
I learned it from, in fact, my mom herself
Oh, really?
when I was very young.
I mentioned Vincent van Gogh somehow.
Because I had art from a very early age
Hmm,
embedded in my life.
cool. Yeah. So Starry Night is one of those famous paintings that just about anybody knows. So I hope you know about Starry Night. Maybe next time, if you are in older grade, because this lesson is for grades kindergarten through second. If you're gonna be a third grader or fourth grader or fifth grader, we could do this yarn painting of Starry Night. Wow, that would be really awesome. All the swirly clouds in a painting. It's a little more harder painting to do because the composition is a little harder to create that kind of complex landscape, I think, personally. I've taken myself a class that was teaching us Starry Night and I really enjoyed it, but it took a long time to do. Although it seems really simple. Okay. So we added all these gorgeous details to the sunflowers base and to the sunflower itself, and we're now at 17 minutes and 28 seconds. How about we gonna finish in class? I'm gonna walk around and help you, and I'll make a new video really soon. Thank you so much for attending Miss Kramer's art class, and I'll see you in class or in the next video. Bye!